Lane Mandel. Now that the Sun Link Streetcars are sharing the road, we've added a few more travel tips. Whether you're a cyclist, motorist, or pedestrian, we'll show you how to safely travel in Tucson's streetcar corridor.
Let's start with some important tips for cyclists. To help cyclists navigate, look for pavement markings along the route. Green pavement markings, sharrows, bike dots, and green bike boxes. Bike boxes allow cyclists to position themselves in front of vehicles at intersections. Whether you're turning left, right, or going forward, using the bike box allows cyclists to be more visible. The bike box also aids in turning safely, crossing over the tracks and street. Cyclists have two options to make a left turn, a two-stage left and a vehicular left. For a two-stage left, the cyclists arrive from the bike lane and proceeds forward to the far side of the intersection. With a pivot, the cyclist faces towards the intended direction, pauses, and then moves with the next phase of the traffic signal, crossing the tracks safely at as close to a right angle as possible. To make a vehicular left, the cyclist approaches the intersection, checks to ensure that all is clear, signals, then crosses over the track at as close to a right angle as possible, yielding to oncoming traffic and obeying traffic laws and signals. Other street markings designed to guide cyclists include bike dots and green pavement markings. Sharrows, or shared lane markings, have two benefits. They help cyclists position themselves safely within the lane, and they alert motorists to the presence of cyclists in the same lane. Remember, a sharrow indicates that a lane is shared. It does not mean that a lane is dedicated to cyclists.
In certain areas along the route, cars parked on the street create door zones. A door zone is the space needed for a door to open on a parallel parked car. To stay safe, cyclists should avoid the door zone. When riding near the tracks, watch your wheels. Riding between or parallel to the rails is risky, and meeting the tracks at the wrong angle can be dangerous. The wheels of a streetcar sit on top of the rails, but the wheels are guided in grooves called flangeways or track gaps. The gaps are a bit wider than the typical bike tire. If a rider crosses the track at a shallow angle, the tire can drop into the groove and result in an accident.
Keep in mind that near some streetcar stops and at some intersections, the tracks move over to hug the curb, which can lead to an otherwise avoidable squeeze. A little wobble here can lead to big trouble. Sometimes it may be best to take an alternate route.
We touched on this earlier, but now that the streetcars are moving, this bears repeating. Riding a bike between a moving streetcar and parked cars takes concentration and care. Cyclists must pay attention to both the streetcar and watch for drivers opening a vehicle door into your travel zone or moving a vehicle in or out of a parking space. Streetcars will stop to pick up and drop off passengers at 23 stops along the route. It can be tempting to pass a streetcar while it is stopped, but it's not safe or legal. A Sun Link streetcar is almost 12 feet tall, so pedestrians cannot see cyclists coming around a streetcar, and you can't see pedestrians. Look for transit-only signs along the route. These lanes are only for buses and streetcars, not cyclists and motorists. Avoid the door zone. Control your speed. Use green bike boxes. Cyclists have two options for left turns. Cross tracks as close to a right angle as possible. Avoid leaning into the turn when crossing the tracks, but rather stay as upright as possible. Don't pass a stopped streetcar. Do not ride in transit-only lanes.
Pedestrians, stay alert. The Sun Link streetcar, powered by electricity, moves quietly.
Whether you're walking or riding, keep an eye out and use caution. Now here are some more tips for pedestrians moving along the streetcar corridor.
Take care when walking over the track to avoid potential spills, or catching high heels, canes, or anything with wheels in the track gap. Streetcar stops are located in the middle of the road and on the side of the road. That means you may be crossing the street to board at stops using new crosswalks. Use only designated crosswalks. If there is a walk signal, obey it. Look both ways before crossing and keep children close.
So above all, be alert. New streetcar stops and vehicles may prevent those along the road from seeing pedestrians and may block pedestrians from seeing all the street action. So take care, obey all traffic signals, and cross only at designated locations. Now that the Sun Link streetcars are moving along the route, we want to stress these important pedestrian safety tips. Streetcars are electric and quiet, not like other vehicles on the road. Pedestrians should look both ways before crossing the road. You probably won't hear a streetcar coming. And keep children close. As a Sun Link passenger, you must use extra care when both boarding and exiting a streetcar. Passengers should avoid distractions and pay attention around the streetcar stops. Being distracted can be dangerous. Crossing in front of a stopped streetcar vehicle is not safe. It is best for passengers exiting the streetcar to wait at the stop until the streetcar departs. Then you can clearly see to cross the street. Step over the track. Use designated crosswalks. If there is a walk signal, obey it. Look both ways before crossing. Keep children close. Pay attention boarding and exiting. Don't cross in front of the streetcar at the stop. Motorists will share a travel lane with the Sun Link Streetcar vehicles. Streetcar operators must obey the same traffic and speed laws as any motorist.
If you're driving, be alert, stay focused, and signal your intentions. Everyone traveling along, around, or across the Sun Link Streetcar route should be on the lookout for upgrades, changes, and new ways of interacting with other travelers.
Roadway space and safety demands may require you to drive on the streetcar track. Driving on the track is the safest way to share the road. This is perfectly safe. The rails will not damage your vehicle. Remember, overhead lines are hot. Green bike boxes and pavement markings indicate a cyclist zone. Don't stop on top of a green bike box. Keep it clear for cyclists. Also, some intersections that have a green bike box do not allow motorists to turn right on red. Look for the signs.
When parking on the street along the route, pause and check your mirrors for cyclists, motorists, and streetcars. Exit your vehicle with caution.
Sunlink means motorists will be navigating a new landscape. There's new development along the route. You may be sharing a travel lane with the streetcar. There's new directional signs, signals, and pavement markings. Here are some tips for motorists. When streetcars and vehicles occupy the same travel lane and a streetcar stops, the motorist behind the streetcar must also stop. It is not safe or legal for a motorist to pass a streetcar while it is at a passenger stop. Because a streetcar is nearly 12 feet tall, motorists cannot see around it and others cannot see you. Watch for transit-only signs designating certain lanes for the streetcar and buses. That means no motorists or cyclists. Signs will clearly indicate when the transit-only travel lane ends and when it's okay to make a right-hand turn. As a motorist, be aware that when parking on the street adjacent to the streetcar tracks, your vehicle must be within the marked white lines of the parking space. The Sunlink system is a fixed loop route. When a streetcar is blocked and stopped, you may delay other transit and other passengers from reaching their destination. If your vehicle is parked incorrectly, it will be towed to an impound lot. You will have to pay a fine, towing cost, and impound fees. Remember, there are more than 11,000 parking spaces along the streetcar route, garages, surface lots, and street parking. For more information, visit the Parkwise website. It's safe to drive on the rail. Do not stop on green bike boxes. Watch that right on red. Do not pass a streetcar at a streetcar stop. When parking along the route, park within white lines. Do not block the streetcar, even with a mirror. Pause before exiting. Open vehicle door with caution. Avoid transit-only lanes. With a little care and a little attention to each other, we can negotiate the Sun Link streetcar line and enjoy all the benefits it brings to our city. For more safety information, visit the streetcar website at www.sunlinkstreetcar.com. Get streetcar street smart.